So, good morning, everyone. So, how is everyone doing?
Morning, ma'am.
Good
Good
morning,
morning,
Good,
ma'am.
ma'am.
We're
ma'am.
doing
Good
all
morning,
right.
class. So, I'm glad to hear that you're all okay. So, before we begin our discussions for today, do we have any absentees, Miss Palpalato?
We don't have absentees for today, ma'am.
Thank you. So, I'm glad to hear that. Now, let's proceed to our lesson for today. First, let me present you my screen. Can you now see my presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So, thank you for responding, Anthony. So, our lesson for today is about the comparative form in English grammar. So, first, let's talk about what is a comparative form. So, comparative form is used to compare either the similarity or the difference between two people, ideas, or things. Now, let's see this text or this short passage here. So, Anthony, can you please read the passage?
Customers love to post online reviews of products these days. These reviews are now just as important as traditional advertising, maybe even more important. TV advertising is as useful as it was before, of course. Also, the positive reviews can be as valuable as ads. If a customer loves a product, he or she will endorse it just as enthusiastically as a TV ad does.
So thank you, Anthony. I have a question now for you. So what can you say about the text that you have just read?
Mm, I think the passage talks about the importance of posting reviews of certain products online, just like how significant traditional advertising is.
Thank you, Anthony. So that's right. This short passage is about the comparison between posting online reviews of products and the traditional advertising. Now, for my next question, what do you observe or what did you observe after reading this text?
After reading the text, ma'am, I noticed that there are highlighted phrases included in the text, and I think it was used to describe the importance and value of posting online reviews compared to the traditional advertising.
Okay, that's right, Anthony. So thank you for your response. So this highlighted phrases are actually comparative forms that can help or is used to to easily compare things or ideas or certain events that have similarities or differences from each other. So the likeness or contrast of this can be shown using these forms. So the first form is as plus adjective plus as. The next form is the as plus adverb plus as. The third is the not as plus adjective plus as. The fourth one is the same as. And the last one is the like. So we have here five sample sentences. Now I would like you to read each sentences and analyze them, and then take note of the comparative form that you notice in that is included in the sentences. So first, let's have Ashley Superales.
Yes, ma'am.
So can you please read the first sentence?
Her hands are as dry as the asphalt.
So from this text, what do you think is the comparative form used?
As dry as.
Okay, very good. So the comparative form or the comparative form used in the sentence is as dry as. Next sentence. So can I hear from Aimee?
Yes, ma'am. The
Thank you.
second sentence is Conan drives as carefully as Olivia.
So what do you think is the comparative form used in the sentence?
It's as carefully as.
Okay, very good. So the comparative form used in this sentence is as carefully as. So may I ask you, what do you think is what part of speech is the word carefully? Aimee.
Ma'am?
Um, Yes, I'm asking if what do you think, or what do you think is, what part of speech do you think carefully belongs to? The word carefully belongs to.
Ma'am, I am not really sure.
It's okay. So the word carefully is actually an adverb. So the third one is Josh is not as enthusiastic as Justin. So what do you think is the comparative form in this sentence? May I ask Jean, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
So what do you think is the comparative form in the sentence?
Not as enthusiastic as.
Okay, very good. So the comparative form in used in this sentence is not as enthusiastic as. The fourth one, or the fourth sentence. Can you please read it, Anthony?
The memories they are making are much the same as ours. And I think much the same as, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So the answer is much the same as, or the same as. And for our last sample sentence, can I hear from Aini?
Yes, ma'am. He said it tastes like candy.
So what do you think is the comparative form in this sentence?
Like,
Okay, very good. So the comparative form used in this sentence is the word like. So now let's proceed to our lesson. So our first comparative form among the five comparative forms are or is as plus adjective plus as. So this is used to compare two equal qualities of two people, ideas, places, or things. So the sentence structure that follows this form is in order like this. So it's first is the subject, next is the be verb, then the as plus adjective plus as, then the noun or the noun phrase. So let's go back to the first sample sentence that we have earlier. So the first sentence is her hands are as dry as the asphalt. So you were correct when you said that the comparative form used in the sentence is as dry as. So let's have a sample of the sentence structure. So for letter A, can you please read this, Jean? Hello, Jean, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
So can you please read the first sentence?
Her dress is as red as blood.
Okay, so our first sentence is her dress is as red as blood. So now let's analyze the parts of the sentence. So first we have her dress, which acts as the subject of the sentence. Next is, which is a be verb, and our comparative form, which is as plus adjective plus as, which is the as red as. And our noun is the word blood. So next, second sentence, can you please read it, Russell?
Okay, ma'am. His feet are as cold as popsicles.
Okay, very good. So, the same as the first sentence, we have here the subject, which is his feet, the be verb that we use, which is are, and our comparative form, which is as cold as. And lastly, our noun, which is the popsicles. So, do you have any questions with regard to our first form?
None,
None so
ma'am.
far, ma'am.
Alright, thank you. So let's proceed to our second form, as plus adverb plus as. So this form shows the similarity of the manner or how things are done between two actions. Earlier, we compared the similarity or the difference of people, ideas, or things. Now we are comparing the manner or how things are done between two actions. So the sentence pattern that, or the sentence structure that it follows is first, we have the subject. Next, we have the verb, followed by as, and then adverb, plus another as, and then noun or a noun phrase. So, in the sentence, Conan drives as carefully as Olivia. Our comparative form used is the as carefully as. The word carefully describes and compare how Conan drives as the same manner as Olivia. Now let's have another example. Can you please read the letter B, Ashley?
Yes, ma'am. Melanie danced as gracefully as her sister.
So our next example, our next sentence is Melanie dances as gracefully as her sister. So our subject is Melanie. Our verb here is dances, and the adverb that we use to describe Melanie is gracefully. And then we compare Melanie, the way Melanie dances, to her sister, which is our noun phrase. Do you have any questions with regards to this form?
None, ma'am.
So thank you. Let's proceed to our third form, which is the negation of our first form, which is the not as plus adjective plus as. So this show the contrast of their qualities. So this is the negative form of our first comparative form earlier. So this comparative form uses the sentence structure or the pattern. First is the subject, then the be verb, plus not as, plus the adjective, plus as, and then the noun or the noun phrase. So let's go back to our third sentence or sample sentence exam. Our sample sentence earlier. So Josh is not as enthusiastic as Justin. So our adjective is enthusiastic, but since we are negating or comparing the unlikeliness or the difference between Justin and Josh enthusiasm, we use the word not asked. So let's have here another example. So for letter B, can you please read it, Aini?
Movies are not as interesting as books.
Thank you. So in this sentence, we can analyze each parts labeled as movies as its subject, or as its be verb, and then not as interesting as the
None,
None,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, very good. So now let's move on to our fourth comparative form, which is the same as. So in the same as, there is a comparison between two things that are happening in a way that is similar or exactly the same. So let's go back to our fourth sample sentence earlier. The memories they are making are much the same as ours. So the memories or the subject is compared the subject compared is the memories, and it used the comparative form the same as to compare the situation, the difference or the similarity between this situation. So you should also remember that when we use the same as, we use the word as instead of the words than or that. So when we use the phrase the same to express similarity, we should add the word as instead of than or that. Is that clear?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So let's proceed to another example. So Russell, can you please read letter B?
She loves Japanese food the same as her mother.
So in this sentence, we use the same as um to compare the speaker's loves for Japanese food as well or the same as her mother. So do you have any questions with regards to using the same as?
None so far, ma'am.
None, ma'am.
Okay, so now let's proceed to our fifth comparative form. So our fifth comparative form used is like. So this one appeals to the verb of the sentence. So it is followed by a noun or a noun phrase. Like can be used to other verb of the senses such as look, seem, sound, and feel. So in this sentence, our example used the word taste, and it said that he said it tastes like candy. So our subject it is compared to the taste same as the candy. So let's have these two examples. So for letter A, can you please read, Anthony?
She looks like her mother with her long hair.
Okay, so our what do you think is, or who do you think is our subject? So our subject in this sentence is she, and our subject is compared to her mother, and it is said that she looks like just her mother with her long hair. So the word looks appeal to the sense of sight, and that's why the word like is used to compare in the sentence. Next is letter B. So can you please read, Russell?
B. My feet feel like they are about to fall off from standing too long.
Okay, so thank you. So in this sentence, we use the word like to describe the speaker's feeling with regards to his feet, comparing it to the feeling of um, it falling off because he stand too long. So we use the word like because it appeals again to the sense of touch, which is his feeling. So do you have any questions to these five comparative forms?
None, ma'am.
Okay, so if you don't have anything to clarify, may I ask, Aini, can you please give one comparative form and its function?
Yes, ma'am. The first one is as plus adjective plus as, and it is used to compare two equal qualities of two people, ideas, places, or things.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Aimi. So another one. Can you please another example, Russell?
Yes, ma'am. The another comparative form is as plus adverb plus as, which shows the similarity of the manner or how things are done between two actions.
Okay, very good. So how about you, Anthony? Can you please give another example of a comparative form?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Anthony.
Okay.
Yes, I
I'm
can
sorry,
hear you.
ma'am. I'm having an internet uh, connection problem.
It's okay.
Not What comparative form is not as plus adjective plus as. Okay.
Okay, so when do we use this comparative form?
We use this comparative form to show the contrast of their qualities.
Okay, very good. So how about you, Aimee? So can you give me another one of the comparative form that we discussed earlier?
Yes, ma'am. The other one is the same as, which is used as comparison between two things that are happening in a way that is similar or exactly the same.
Okay, very good. And for our last comparative form, Jean, can you give me the last one?
Like po, ma'am.
Okay,
Like
very good. Like,
appeals to the verb of the sentence. Tenses. Sorry.
okay, so like appeals to the verb of the senses. So that those are the five comparative forms. And now that it seems like you really understand our lesson, let's proceed and practice your knowledge. So for our first exercise, use the words to make comparisons with our comparative forms, which are as plus as, not and as, the same as, or like. So for number one, who would like to answer?
Ma'am,
Yes, Russell. Yes, Russell.
number one, desktop computers. B, popular laptops. I think, ma'am, it is desktop computers are as popular as laptops.
Okay, very good. So the answer is desktop computers are as popular as laptops. For number two, Aimee, can you please answer number two?
Number two, horses run fast cars. I think, ma'am, the answer is horses run as fast as cars.
Okay, very good. So that's correct. The answer is horses run as fast as cars. Number three, Jean, can you please read the sentence and then give your answer?
This bathroom, be spacious, my apartment. I think the answer would be this bathroom is as spacious as my apartment.
Okay, that's correct. Very good. So the answer is this bathroom is as spacious as my apartment. So our fourth one, can you please answer, Anthony?
Number four, snail mails, not B, send messages quickly, electronic mails? I think the answer would be snail mails do not send messages as quickly as electronic mails.
Okay, very good. So that's correct. So this one is a negation, and that's the correct answer, Anthony. Snail mails do not send messages as quickly as electronic mails. So number five, who would like to answer number five? Yes, I mean.
Number 5. Anne speak English well her mother. The answer would be Anne speaks English as well as her mother.
Okay, so that's correct. So the answer is Anne speaks English as well as her mother. So for our sixth sentence, can you please answer, Anthony? Yes, Anthony.
Number 6. Her interest in books and movies be the same as mine. I think the answer would be her interest in books and movies is the same as mine.
Okay, very good. So that's the correct answer. For our seventh question, can you please answer, Ashley?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The store-bought ice cream tastes like dried mangoes. I think the answer is the store-bought ice cream like as dried mangoes.
So the answer is the store-bought ice cream tastes
Dried
as dried mangoes. Okay,
dried
very good.
mangoes.
So that's correct. So number eight, who would like to answer? Yes, Russell.
She changed curtains often, bed sheets. I think, ma'am, the answer is she changes curtains as often as bed sheets.
Okay, very good. So that's the correct answer. So for number nine, can you please answer? Yes, Amy.
Number 9. As much as it seemed like you own my heart, we're two worlds apart. I think the answer would be as much as it seems like you own my heart, we're two worlds apart.
Okay, so that's correct. So the answer is as much as it seems like you own my heart, we are two worlds apart. So for our last sentence, can you please give me the answer, Anthony?
Number 10. You can play with her. She not be frail porcelain vase. I think the answer would be you can play with her. She is not as frail as porcelain vase.
Okay, very good. So that's correct, Anthony. Our last sentence is you can play with her. She is not as frail as porcelain vase. Okay, so for our next activity, since you have answered all the 10 items earlier correctly, let's proceed to our second activity. And now I would like to ask you to look for a pair for this exercise. So exercise 2. Complete the conversation with less or not as and the words in parentheses. Make the verbs negative only when not is given. So in this exercise I would like you to find a partner and or form a group of 3 since for our first activity you have to have 3 persons in this conversation, and then complete the conversation using the comparative forms that we discussed earlier. You have to also take note that you will just make the verbs negative only when the word not is given in the sentence. So let's have the first group. So may I call on Russell, Ashley, and Anthony?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can now proceed with the activity.
Your new camera is not as big your old one.
I know. It is not as heavy as my old X2000 and it was as expensive too.
Well, that's true. It is not as stylish, but it's also as expensive.
Okay, so thank you, group one. So let's check if your answers are correct. So let's read the conversation. Can you please repeat your answers? Or rather, read the sentences. Russell, Anthony, and Ashley.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes. So can you please
Ma'am,
read your yes? Can you please read your lines?
your new camera is not as big your old one.
I know it is not as heavy as my old X2000, but it was as expensive too.
Well, that's true. It is not as stylish, but it's also as expensive.
Very good. So thank you, Group One. Let's proceed now to our letter B. Okay. So for our second group, may I call on Jean, and Amy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can now proceed to your presentation.
Check out this new coffee machine. It looks great. Ours is not as fancy as this new one.
Well, it's definitely fancier than ours, but it is not as efficient. It does not make coffee as quickly, and the coffee does not taste as good.
Okay. So thank you, Group Two. Now let's check if your answers are correct. Can you please read again your lines in this conversation?
Check out this new coffee machine. It looks great. Ours is not as fancy as this new one.
Well, it's definitely fancier than ours, but it is not as efficient. It does not make coffee as quickly, and the coffee does not taste as good.
Okay, so thank you, Group Two. You did great in this last activity. So, do you have any more questions? Any clarifications you would like to ask before we end this discussion?
None,
None,
ma'am. Everything
ma'am.
is
None.
All
clear.
clear po.
Okay, very good. So, thank you. Now let's proceed to your assignment. So, for your takeaway, I would like to ask you to write a 200-word essay on how you will spend your summer vacation this year using some of the comparative forms in English grammar. So, I will make a post in our Google Classroom and you can post your answer in the comment section. Is that all clear?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So thank you. Again, if you don't have any more clarification, any more questions, let's call it a day. And thank you again for attending our class today. Have a great day and make good choices and always be safe out there. I'll see you in the next class. Goodbye, class.
Goodbye,
Goodbye,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Bye,
Hey,
ma'am.
ma'am,
Thank you
thank
Thank
po.
you.